Illinois Public Media News, this is 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. It's Friday, September 27th. Coming up, we'll learn more about the book ban law that was passed in Illinois last year. That story in just a few minutes, but first, these headlines. Students for Justice in Palestine is no longer allowed to operate as a student organization at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. IPM's Emily Hayes has more.
The U of I says a student discipline subcommittee of the Faculty and Student Senate decided in mid-August that SJP violated the student code during its April encampment on the main quad for Gaza. Dahlia is an Arab American student who participated in the protests. She asked that her last name not be used.
It makes me fearful as to how much we can do on campus. That yes, it's a public university, but I don't have all the rights that I think that I do. It's upsetting because now there's even less for us to do. We feel like there's even less things that we can do that could potentially, make things better.
The U of I says SJP can petition to restore its status as a registered student organization in 3 years. But until then, it will not get funding from the university. I'm Emily Hayes with IPM News.
Illinois voters will be asked next month about a new way to lessen their property tax bills. Dave McKinney has more.
An advisory referendum on the November 5th ballot will ask whether individual earnings above $1 million should be hit with a 3% surcharge, with revenues then going to property tax relief. Governor J.B. Pritzker's administration estimates that could generate $4.5 billion annually. Democratic State Representative Jay Hoffman pushed the measure and says it could trigger a 2026 push to change the state constitution to allow the millionaire's tax.
What we want to make sure of is that if we're going to do something regarding property tax relief and utilizing the surcharge for individuals who make over $1 million, the general public supports it. I'm hopeful that they will.
Top Republicans in the legislature oppose next month's ballot question. This is Dave McKinney.
Running clubs have gained popularity around the globe and here locally. IPM student reporter Alyssa Eaton explains how the University of Illinois is joining the trend.
The main quad in Urbana is usually quiet on the weekends, but in recent weeks, that's changed. On a recent rainy Sunday morning, the sidewalks are full of U of I students wearing running shoes and chatting as they prepare for a 2-mile run. Co-founder Ryan Miller says that the newly formed Illini Run Club is about more than just running.
We want people to meet people, because that's the idea at the end of this. It's a social club masquerading itself as a run club.
Illini Run Club meets Sundays at 10 a.m., rain or shine. I'm Alyssa Eaton, IPM News.
The task force of Illinois lawmakers and experts studying warehouse safety following the 2021 tornado that killed 6 Amazon employees has entered its final phase of work. Will Bauer reports the group met for the final time on Wednesday and will focus on its report.
After 6 meetings, state lawmakers, representatives from various industries, and the Department of Labor have heard from experts and a family of an employee killed in the tornado. Before the task force issues recommendations, they want to hear from the public. Republican State Senator Erica Harris of Glen Carbon says that will be essential.
If you have an opinion to share, please do it, because those will all be looked at and sorted through and will only help us make better decisions.
So far, experts have recommended improving structural requirements to warehouses, like mandating storm shelters or putting warehouses into higher construction standards like schools. The group will also consider improving disaster plans. The final report is due by the start of next year. In Edwardsville, I'm Will Bauer.
Still to come, we'll learn more about the book ban law that was passed in Illinois last year. That story is coming up next on 217 Today. But first, meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your forecast.
I'm meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your IPM News forecast for Champaign-Urbana. Your forecast for today, cloudy and windy with rain likely and a high of 73 degrees. Northeast wind 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting to 50 miles per hour. Tonight, cloudy and windy with rain likely and a low of 64 degrees. Northeast wind 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting to 50 miles per hour. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and a high of 74 degrees. Northeast wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and a low of 63 degrees. Northeast wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for Sunday, mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and a high of 74 degrees and a northeast wind 10 miles per hour.
Next time on the 21st Show, our Friday roundtables, including the latest on what the Illinois congressional delegation has been up to and Hispanic Heritage Month events in Northern Illinois. Plus, it's not been a great year to be a sports fan in Illinois. Then again, when is it a good year to be a sports fan in Illinois? I'm Brian Mackey. All that's next time on the 21st Show. Join us.
You're listening to 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. It's Banned Books Week, which celebrates open access to information. Last year, Illinois passed a law to ban book bans. Peter Medlin talked with the law's author, State Rep Ann Stava Murray, about how it's working in its first year.
How does the legislation attempt to stop book challenges or book bans?
By taking eligibility for Secretary of State grants away from any library that participates in book banning for partisan or doctrinal personal beliefs alone. So you don't get money from us as a state entity if you are engaging in this type of partisan book banning.
So far, is the law working as planned in its first year? Have there been fewer attempts to ban books?
So we don't know yet for school libraries specifically, if there will be any school libraries that choose to opt out of our grant program because they want to be able to ban books. But the majority of libraries in our state, both academic and school libraries, rely on that Secretary of State's grant funding for incredibly important community services. All eligible applicants for public library funding, of which there were 639 this year, did file a compliance statement with Public Act 103-100. Similarly, all academic library applicants for open educational resources funded this past spring filed compliance with the new law. So the jury is out on the school libraries, but every other entity of libraries that have received grants this year have filed their compliance statements and are in compliance with our new law.
Right, so there have been no removals for those reasons this year.
Yeah, correct.
I was looking back at the American Library Association's data from the last couple of years, and they track the number of attempts to restrict access to books in Illinois, and they showed that the number of those attempts went down in Illinois from 2022 to 2023. But last year, in 2023, the total number of titles challenged in those attempts actually went up. So the total challenge is down. The total number of titles represented in those challenges actually went up. I don't have the data for this year with the new law in place and everything like that. But what to you does that say about kind of just the trajectory that we've been on with this issue over the past few years?
Yeah, so the data that I have when it came to the book ban efforts and that I worked off of when I was passing this bill was data between 2021 and 2022. Only 4% of bans have been a result of parents or community members filing formal charges about classroom or library materials. And at that time, just to give you some context and background for why I even wanted to pass this bill, in my community, in Downers Grove 99, we were targeted by a hate group called the Proud Boys, who decided that they had a problem that genderqueer was in the library of Downers Grove high schools. And so our school district board literally had to go through 6 or 8 weeks of meetings where they could barely get the work that they were meant to do done because these hate groups would show up and spend hours and hours of public comment making the most vile statements about every group imaginable.
Is there something that you wish more people knew about?
You know, I think the lack of visibility of minority groups within our libraries historically has led to some great efforts to diversify and be inclusive and make sure that everyone can see themselves in their library. To say categorically certain people's stories won't be told because they're somehow offensive to someone else's sensibilities, then that person should just not check out the book.
That was WNIJ's Peter Medlin talking with State Representative Ann Stava Murray about the legislation she sponsored to ban book banning in Illinois. That's it for today. 2 in 7 Today is produced by Stephanie Mosqueda. Reporting today contributed by Emily Hayes, Dave McKinney, Alyssa Eaton, Will Bauer, and Peter Medlin. Music by the Kilbourne Alley Blues Band. Reginald Hardwick is our news director. I'm Kimberly Schofield. 2 in 7 Today is a production of Illinois Public Media. Thanks for listening, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again on Monday. Have a great weekend.